Does it make sense to you that the pilot signed off, spoke to the passengers, and then we didn't hear anything for several hours, though the plane continued to fly?
Yeah, that's extremely unusual. A pilot will usually get on the airplane, tell people when they're at their cruising altitude, and report an approximate arrival time. And none of that happened as far as we know. So it is very strange. I mean, the fact that the transponder was turned off at all is very unusual, extremely unusual, in fact.
Laura, the speculation, as you know now, is that foul play was involved somehow. We don't know whether it was the pilots. We don't know whether it was the crew. We don't know whether it was somebody on board. But tell us what would happen if you were in a plane and something alarming started to take place. What's the procedure? What was, if that were the case, what's going on in that plane?
Right. Well, there are procedures, and I can't talk about all of those procedures here publicly, but the flight crew would start communicating and coordinating. And we have no indication of what happened because, again, the transponder was turned off for reasons we don't know. The only reason that would ever be done is if there was some sort of electrical problem, maybe perhaps it was overheating, and there was a safety concern. And even then, there would be communications to the ground that there was a problem with the electricity and that they needed to turn the responder off. I think that's an indication that there was something very unusual happening on that airplane, and we are just going to have to wait until we can get more information from the black box and from the ACARS to learn what exactly happened.
Laura, in this day and age of locked passenger doors in the post-9/11 era, what options do flight attendants have, the other crew on the plane outside the cockpit, if they figure out that the pilots are up to no good?
Well, we can't speculate what happened. I can tell you that we do have...
I understand that. I'm creating hypotheticals here, but that is a realistic scenario, right? It's the pilots, we're the quote-unquote bad guys. We don't know anything, but we're just talking about scenarios. And the crew recognizes this, maybe doesn't know that the transponder has been turned off. What do you do?
Well, as you know, we don't have access to the cockpit door. As you just pointed out, they're locked and they're very well guarded. So it would be impossible to get into the cockpit. So we would have to try to do all communication through the interphone. And again, not knowing what happened, I don't know what the procedures would have been. I will tell you that I feel very, very badly for the families of the crew as well as the passengers because there has been so much speculation and so much new information coming all the time. Here in the U.S., we have the Family Assistance Act, which would ensure that all of the passengers were well taken care of. I mean, the passengers' families were well taken care of and informed. And I think what I'm seeing is that they're just heartbroken, and the information they're getting on a constant basis is just more reason for concern. Speculation that it could have been the crew has been very difficult on crew families. So I really hope we get to the bottom of this as soon as possible, just so that we could give these people a little peace.
Do you think the airlines are communicating enough? It doesn't seem that they know much.
They don't know much. They don't know much. But whatever they do know, they should be communicating to the families. I don't think that we would be sending the USS Kidd over to look for an airplane unless we knew that there was good reason to go to the area it's going to. So there must be some information, some indication behind the scenes. And I guess I would just hope that somebody is communicating that to the families and that there's, they're getting the assistance that they need.
All right, Laura, obviously it's speculation, but given your career history, as this story is unfolding, every news story you read, what do you actually think what happened here?
I really have no idea. I don't. I think something interfered with that flight. Somebody interfered with that flight. Obviously, if something had happened and there was a explosion of some kind, there would be debris and it would have been found. So we do know that the plane continued to fly for a number of hours. We do know it went into an area it should not have gone into, and the only indication is that somebody commandeered the airplane, and who that was and for what reason, we just don't know. I mean, there's always still the chance we can find the plane with the passengers on it and it landed somewhere, I guess. I mean, I would just pray that that would be the outcome here.